Stand Up Diaries with Michelle Christine.
Hello and welcome to Stand Up Diaries, entry 163, and this one's called Third Year Recap. And yeah, it's October the, I want to say 6th. Yes, it's October the 6th today, 2015. Right here is the bed where a month ago, in the month of September, I shared this one bedroom with Justin, who lives here. You can probably hear traffic going on outside. This street's called Franklin Avenue, and it's a fairly busy street. I mean, I'm used to living on a busy street in Dufferin, in Toronto, but I think like the panes of glass were thicker. Like, it was actually one of those streets where if you open the door to say our front step, as soon as you open the door, you're like, oh wow, you can hear the cars go by. But then as soon as you close that door, it was actually pretty silent. So I have to give whoever built the house some props for how well they soundproofed it. But yeah, you can hear the cars go back and forth, but it's not something that keeps me awake if I'm going to sleep. Like, sometimes I've actually been going on an intervention binge on Netflix. I don't know what. It's over now though. I got through I think all the 15 episodes. So I would just kind of put on Netflix and then fall asleep. Because previous to that, I had watched The Visit, M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, and then I just couldn't sleep with the lights off anymore. I was too terrified. It just has these scenes where like sleepwalking and sleepwalk attacking and all that kind of stuff, and that's just like my kryptonite. At first I was like, oh, this movie's not that scary. And then of course as soon as I get home, it's just like I can't fall asleep. 2 nights in a row I slept with purely the lights on. Then it was kind of like the hall lights on. And now I just turn off the lights but then fall asleep to watching a TV show. So that's where I'm at. Anyway, so Justin slept on that bed, and then I slept in the bedroom. The previous diary entry shows me in the bedroom. Not like a huge view of it or anything like that. But yeah, and here's the couch. It's a fairly spacious room, which is nice. And it's been kind of nice having it to myself. You know, I've never, before I moved here, lived on my own before. And it's definitely kind of a bit of a treat to just come home and know that you're like, oh, like, this is my zen place. Anyway. So, third year recap. I did my 3rd anniversary show at Echoes Under Sunset on on Wednesday, September the 30th. And I have to say, I was very happy with what happened. I really couldn't have asked for much better. I had gone on a 9-day working straight binge because I'd gone to Toronto to visit Dean for a wedding, and for 4 days. So I took the Friday, Saturday off of one work week, and then the Sunday, Monday off of the next work week, so that I didn't have to take any vacation days, but clumping 4 days together meant that I had this epic 9-day stretch leading up to the 3rd anniversary show, which was not ideal. Of course, usually I had the Tuesday, Wednesday off, but then that week I just happened to have the Thursday, Friday off. So instead of practicing Tuesday, Wednesday and really getting kind of in the game and going over my set over and over again before the show, didn't have that opportunity. So I just kind of did the best that I could. I'd done a lot of open mics leading up to it, written a lot of new material. And I said some jokes that I had said before in Toronto, but I tested out a lot of material that I've been working on since moving here. Pretty much all the material I had worked on since moving here because I really wanted to try it out. I opened the show with about 20 minutes. Went on in between each act and then closed out the show. And at the beginning of the show, I kind of like went through the audience and kind of said how I knew each person. And a lot of people came from Home Depot, which was great because that's where I work outside of for Solar City. And like, I was just so happy. Like, so many people came by themselves. Like, I always think that that's really wonderful, and that's what happened a lot in Toronto when I kind of got people to come to the show. And I was like, don't worry, if you're here by yourself, there's this little community that's building, and if you like me, you'll like the people that come to the show, and you'll like the show. And that always proved to be the case. So many people kind of built friendships out of that Ossington show, and I'm so proud of that. And it's going to live on, hopefully, like lifetime friendships. How wonderful would that be? There's even a relationship that developed from it, which is really cool. My friend Lisa and my friend Mike. So hopefully I go to their wedding, and then they can mention that in their speeches, and it'll be great. So anyway, yeah. So a lot of people came by themselves. A guy came from a board game night that I met him at. I actually previously met him at an open mic in Atwater Village, and then we played Settlers of Catan, and then I won, so he felt obligated to come to my show, and he always jokes about how I have a hard sell. That's like his joke, because I'm like, oh, if we play this, like, will you come to my show? And he's like, ooh, a hard sell. And so he came, and then a guy I met at a coffee shop, and we kind of have been going back and forth because I'm trying to write this pilot for a TV show that I think would be really interesting. And so that guy came, Jonathan, and some Home Depot people, some security guards, some co-workers, and just kind of a random assortment of people that I've kind of met in my time here. And even though I had really only been here for just over 2 months, I had about 20 to 25 people come to the show. So I was very, very excited about that. And it made for a really good time because everyone was there to laugh, you know. Shows are so fun. Open mics are the hardest case scenario typically to get a reaction from the audience. So if you can even get like a murmur or people to pay attention to you at an open mic, double thumbs up. So usually all that work at the hardest difficulty, when you do kind of a big show where people come and they're ready to laugh and they want to support you, it doesn't feel, you know, as painful at times. It feels like really exhilarating and wonderful, and kind of why you put all the effort and practice into it. And then I close out the show with probably, I don't know, maybe around 20 minutes. I wanted to do about 45 minutes to an hour with my opener going on in between and then my closing. And I really did like the hybrid format. I loved opening the show. I enjoy hosting. I'm a good host, but I also enjoy closing out a show and being able to thank everybody for coming. So I think overall I was very, very pleased with how things went, especially in how little time I had to put it all together. So big props to Echoes Under Sunset, the venue, for having a cute little dual-spaced place. And Will is a guy that's my manager, and he came and he filmed the entire show. And right now he's struggling with, and this is always the difficult part of, if you film a show and then you have the mic, and the mic's like a special audio that you're recording on its own, and then you want to use that audio because it's so crystal clear, but it only picks up your voice and not the audience. And then you have another microphone picking up the audience, but it's also picking up your voice in the background too. So it's like, how do you remove your voice from the secondary audio to include the laugh track, so you can have the laugh track with the crystal clear voice? And that's, I mean, neither him nor I are champion editors, but that's kind of the thing, that we have the footage, we have the audio, we just gotta find a way to like lather it together. Layer it together. See, the fact that I even said lather just gives you an idea of how amateurish I am. But you know, my big mantra is start before you feel ready. Just tape it, have it, and then figure it out, right? So that's cool. And then my time since doing the show it's exciting because Dean's coming down for Thanksgiving weekend, so he will be here and pick him up from the airport on Thursday, and he is bringing the dog, Kuza. I know, where has Kuza been in these videos? He has been a noticeable absent dog, and I can't wait to have him back in the videos, and I can't wait to see him. It's going to be so lovely to have him out, and I'm sure we'll have a really fun weekend. It's going to be bloody hot. It's supposed to be 90 degrees plus. Look at that, American Fahrenheit, boom, or 30 plus degrees Celsius all weekend. It was so nice it's been so nice for the past few days, and it's going to be really nice as soon as Dean leaves, but it's decided to be just like absolutely scorchingly hot. But there's actually an air conditioner in the window there, and I told Dean I didn't think it worked because we had never used it in September, and it was really hot here in September, so I just assumed that it just didn't work. But Dean's like, why don't you just try it? And so today I got home and I just like turned it on and it worked, and I was like, oh, okay. So it might not be as painfully warm in the apartment as I had previously thought. I feel like I talked relatively fast during this, even for my standards, but I guess I had a lot to say, and I always like to say it as quickly as possible. So yeah, life's good, life's good. I'm going to check out a place tomorrow for a year lease for a place that Dean and I can share together in Koreatown, and it's like a really nice 1-bedroom, and I really hope that we'll take it. I found it on Craigslist, but the scary thing about Craigslist is that the nicer the pictures look, the more people want to see it. And I guess that's not scary, but that's the reality. So the pictures looked nice, so I'm sure there's a ton of people that are interested. For this place, there were no pictures listed. And those are like where you can find diamonds in the rough, because you're like, oh, there's no pictures. Immediately, honestly, that's almost 90% of the people that are not going to respond to the video or to the ad on the Craigslist. Anyway, so when I came to view it, I was like, oh, this is a diamond in the rough, fabulous, and it was in a great location. So it's been nice living here for the past month and a bit. So I'll be sad to see it go, but if I pick up this place tomorrow, I'll be very excited, because it'll be nice to kind of be able to stay in a long-term place again, because, you know, living out of a suitcase, like, every couple months moving. Not a fun time, and I'm ready to feel a little bit more settled. And it's a place that I think Dean will definitely feel comfortable in, and they allow dogs, which is very important because, again, we have the little Kusa. So yeah, I will definitely give an update on my new digs and how the weekend went with Dean and how just before I go too, it was the second week of my Atwater Village open mic, so I've had two. The first week I had, I think, around 15 people come, and they do 5-minute sets, and then this week I had 17 people come, and again 5-minute sets, and I had so much more fun the second week than the first week, because the first week I was just so like, are people going to come? Are they going to have a good time? Worrying like a worrywart. But the second week, I just felt way more at ease, and I think that the vibes of the room were really strong, and the comedians did really well, and I just had a fun time throughout the show, and I think that that's really important. So I think it'll be a room that I can really build into something special, and that's what I've been hoping for. Anyways, this has been your next edition of Stand Up Diaries. I have been Michelle Christine.